Now, Statler and Waldorf were played by Jim Henson and Richard Hunt.
Okay.
Now, what people don't appreciate was that by the time we were doing Muppets Christmas Carol, both those gentlemen were now dead. So Statler and Waldorf were the ghosts playing the ghosts of the Marley Brothers.
Yes.
It was kind of a little inside joke for the Muppet people.
All righty. Last thing we have is more of a goodbye, as this week, comedian that I've enjoyed listening to over the years has passed away. Norm McDonald dies at the age of 61, apparently due to cancer. So if you're not familiar with his comic comic style, it is very straight man, just
Yeah, he says something and he just says it in a normal voice.
Says it and just keeps on going, and it's something really horrible or off the wall type of humor. He really got to start on SNL with the reading the news, where he wasn't. To me, that wasn't his best time. His best time was in his older days, because he seemed to be he seemed to pull it off a lot better with age. So.
Older Norm MacDonald was friggin' hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I actually was rather surprised because I remember him from back then, and I was like, he's always kind of funny. But then as he got older, I said, he's actually getting pretty funny. And I think it's because as he got older, the kind of I don't give an F attitude made more sense.
Well, and it was always fun. Like, he would do these, I guess, shows, podcasts, stuff like that with a bunch of other older comedians who also just didn't give a shit. So you'd have this round table of nobody giving a shit, and it was some of the best, comic relief that you could really get, because it was void of PC or any of that stuff. It was just some old dudes sitting around a table making
saying
jokes.
Whatever they feel like.
So.
One out, and our boy Norm MacDonald. I hate that he had to go under those circumstances, especially cancer. I mean, that sucks. But as I honestly think Norm MacDonald would say, his place was a shithole anyway. I really feel his attitude like, this place kind of sucks now. That feels like that would be his attitude about it,
But yeah. Blood Axe, I know you actually had posted this one up, so you have a comment or?
Oh yeah. The Norm Macdonald was one of the last of the comedians that didn't really mind speaking his mind and just dealing with the fallout afterwards. Because a lot of comedians now, well, minus Dave Chappelle, he still doesn't give a shit. But most of the comedians now will toe that line of, okay, I can't make gay jokes, I can't make racist jokes, I can pick on fat people and redheads, and that's about it. Unless they're female, then I can't pick up. So I mean, they have to cross-check their head before they fire a joke. Norm Macdonald just fire it off, and if you didn't like it, well, fuck you. You can go listen to somebody else. And I think we're getting away from a lot of that, but I understand why comedians feel that they can't dive into some of those waters. But in all honesty, comedy is making fun of things that we don't like about ourselves sometimes, whether it's like Dave Chappelle with his racist jokes, or even with some of the other comedians would just find some of the things that we didn't really want to talk about, but they would make jokes of it in order to bring into this discussion. And Norm Macdonald was one of those folks to where he would take some of those subjects and would make jokes about it, and he caught some fallout for it. But he's also just played some absolutely hilarious roles. I think the one that sticks out the most in my mind is when he was Burt Reynolds on Jeopardy with the oversized 45-gallon hat. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But no, and I think it was his dry sense of humor that kind of landed him in that spot on doing the weekend report on SNL. because he would say a joke and you wait for the punchline, and if you weren't either paying attention or smart enough, you'd miss the punchline. And I think that was also part of his shtick, was part of the joke is, you're not waiting for the bump to say this is a joke. It's you had to pay attention to him
Mhm.
because some of the stuff he was really intelligent with some of his jokes. So he will sorely be missed. And it was when I saw it, I didn't even know he was sick. And if you the more you looked into it, apparently nobody knew he was sick.
Yeah,
And
they said he
so
had hidden the fact that he was sick from most.
Well, given how toxic people are out there, because they kept trying to cancel him and he didn't care, they would have just attacked him. So I get it. Him going like, I don't need these guys saying terrible things.
Well, and also it matches his personality that he wouldn't be out there with that too. So
he liked to entertain people, not make them sad.
but people did kind of didn't wait very long to start dogpiling on him afterwards. I did see some of that content out there, which just out of respect for the man and his family, just give him some time before you even want to start doing that
These
kind of shit.
people don't respect family. They don't respect anything.
You see that with almost every celebrity though that has passed. That somebody has to throw a punch out there.
It's the same
right after. It's not always the same somebody's, but I mean, somebody.
It's clickbait. It's clickbait. If I talk negative about this person who's recently passed, you're going to look at my story. You're going to click on the article, even though it's I may not feel that way. It's what we talked about a couple of weeks ago or last week about just getting that negative reaction click. It's negative attention, but it's still attention nonetheless. Yeah. And it's really shameful that our society has gotten to that way. And I think if a lot of us were more open-minded, we would still have, comedians generating comedy the way that Norm Macdonald did. And, we would laugh a little more and maybe be less up in arms a little more as well. Because I think a lot of the problem is we don't laugh enough. And because the comedians are now terrified of making that off-color joke or afraid of offending somebody and getting that 5% of the public backlash, they're not going to make the joke. They're going to make the safe joke that's not nearly as funny.
Oh yeah, no, it's like one of my T-shirts one of my favorite T-shirts. It says, you find it offensive, I find it funny. That's why I'll live longer. That's why I'm happier. It's like, yeah, quit being offended. Be happy. It doesn't matter that much. But
me. I stinks of me.